Hey guys, I got a Falco guide for you today. And this, if you watched my previous one, this is going to be a heavy revision of it. Now that they released custom games, I was able to test a couple of things that I wasn't 100% sure on. Now I can safely say all of this is 100% accurate, not 99%. So I definitely did a fair amount of testing previously, but I wasn't able to do proper tests because all the tests were just in Siege under various circumstances. So for the introduction for Falcos, they're a long-range mobile artillery capable of slowing down or entirely stopping enemy advances due to their heavy damage and knockdown. When a Falco unit starts firing, there are three things you want to consider. First is the fear factor they cause. When the Falcos fire, the sound effect can be heard by the enemy from a fair distance, and depending on the situation, they may also see the Falco shots flying over their heads or the wall. This causes most people to panic a bit and can lead to some people moving out of the line of fire or trying to push past the defense line to kill the Falcos. Second is everything the Falcos hit will be knocked down and take heavy damage, even if they are a braced heavy shield unit like stalwarts, which makes pushing the enemy or your team back much easier. Third is wondering how to kill or protect the Falcos. So obviously if they're your Falcos, you want to protect them. Or if they're someone else's, like I mentioned previously, people will try and dive past defensive lines to try and kill an enemy Falco unit because they are just that dangerous and worth the sacrifice if you can manage to kill even some of them. They are one of the most dangerous units that show up on the field, so watch out. Or, protect them. Either way. And here's the ideal doctrine setup. Now, Falcos may be very powerful, but they are also very slow and weak to all attacks. You always want to consider where your Falcos are and what you can do to best protect them. Moving them around between volleys is one way to accomplish this. Each time the Falco unit sets down and fires, you can move them a few feet and have them fire again. This way they are constantly moving and doing maximum damage still. In the last damage, I gave the recommended doctrines, and many of you may have noticed that I have the epic mobility doctrine on. And that is no mistake. Regardless of how you play Falcos, you'll never overcome the fact that they move slower than a fucking turtle. That mobility doctrine gets them around the map much easier, and it is the most valuable doctrine on them. It's just as valuable as stun on brace for 40s. An additional thing to remember is Falcos do not have a hit counter, meaning their shots will pierce and do full damage to everything in their path. Now, here's the veterancy lineup. With Falcos, there's actually one clear-cut, more damage build you can go, and that's the bottom line. The top line is 10% reload speed, 18% blunt damage, and then a bit of accuracy. When considering their veterancy, you have to ask how much you use them and in what situations. With no veterancy levels or doctrines, these guys have decent accuracy, but at longer distance the shots scatter a bit more. Once you have the accuracy doctrine, you get less of a damage bonus from top line because the 25% increase makes them extremely accurate at longer distances with minimal scatter. You still get a little scatter, and that is what you want in most situations, so you hit a wider area. Falcos are all about damage, and with 2 extra unit members, that's just a 20% extra damage bonus. And the reload speed is already decent, so all in all, you want to go bottom line. Bottom line is hands down the best. I did plenty of testing on this, and with my buddy Raku, he helped me test the damage numbers. And there's no damage difference between heroes or units. So some units, they wind up having a passive skill that reduces damage to heroes or units compared to cavalry and stuff. Falcos don't have that. Full damage to everything, regardless of what they have. The only thing that changes the number is armor. Now, one thing that makes Falcos unique, other than the fact that they lob a piece of metal at their enemies, is their massive range. Falcos have the longest range in the game other than the longbow hero and placed artillery. This gives you many places in many different siege maps to shoot the enemy from locations that some would call exploitative. I just call it creative thinking. Another thing about the Falco's range is they can fire out of the optimal range of their fire zone and not suffer any major accuracy or damage penalties, like other ranged units. When your target ability goes outside the blue circle and turns red, you can still target there. As long as you do not aim more than 10% farther than your blue range, the Falco unit will still hit the target with 80% accuracy and 90 to 100% damage. The only exception is if you try shooting up a hill in the red, it will almost never make it due to the drop off. They can only shoot so high before it's too much even for them. In the next slides, I will have some special spots shown for you on each map in the game where you will place siege.